In this presentation, we will understand program number 1 based on the concepts of conditionals and loops. So without any further delay, let's get started. In this presentation, we will understand how to write the program to calculate the sum of first n natural numbers. So let's get started and let's understand how to write the program for the same. The problem statement is like this. We have to write the program to calculate the sum of first n natural numbers. First, we need to understand the meaning of natural numbers. So what are natural numbers? Natural numbers are all positive integers starting from 1 that goes up to infinity. This means numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and so on up to infinity are all natural numbers. So now we know what are natural numbers. Let's get back to our problem statement. We need to write the program to calculate the sum of first n natural numbers. Now what is n here? N represents the value which we will receive from the user. So our first requirement is to receive the input from the user and store that input inside n. So we want the value of n from the user. Now that value can be any value. It can be 1, 2, 3 and so on. Let's say that n is 5. Then we need to calculate the sum of first 5 natural numbers, which is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, which is equal to 15. So we must print 15 in that case. So depending upon the value of n, we must calculate the sum of first n natural numbers. Now we know that what is our first requirement. We must receive the value of n from the user. For this, we will use the input method. We already know how input method works and how to use it. So let's use it. We need to write the statement n equal to input, enter the value of n. This is the prompt which will get printed on the screen, and with this user will get the idea that what kind of value we want from the user. We want some integer from user and user will provide that integer. That value will get stored inside n. But there is a problem. We know that input method always returns a string, but we want an integer. Therefore, we must provide input method as an argument to int method. So, our new statement looks like this. Here we are providing input method as the argument to int method. Now, we will receive the integer here. Eventually, this will get stored inside n. This is the prompt which user will see. Enter the value of n. Let's say user has typed 5. So, eventually we will receive 5 in n. N is now pointing to 5. Now we have received the value of n. We are ready to write the logic of our program. We want to calculate the sum of first n natural numbers. Here n is 5, this means we need to calculate the sum of first 5 natural numbers, which is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, which is equal to 15. How to do this? We want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these values, and we need to calculate their sum. We can do this using while loop. We have learned this in the last lecture that while loop allows us to repeat a certain piece of code based on some condition. So here we just have the value of n, which is 5, but we want all values 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. How to get these values? We can use while loop. We'll start with 5 and then we'll continue to decrement the value of n. In this way we'll get 4, 3, 2 and 1 as well. And now the main idea is within the while loop we will add all these values one after the other, and we will store those values inside some variable, some other variable. Let's say that variable is sum, S-U-M, sum. This sum variable will hold the sum for us. Let's create that variable first. Here I have initialized sum to 0 because eventually inside while loop we must add n to this variable sum, and we have learned this already that we cannot directly update a variable without first initializing it. It is important to first initialize the variable. Here we have initialized this variable to 0. So for the first time, when we add n to this value, we'll get 5 here, which means that sum will hold value 5, and then we will decrement the value of n becomes 4, and then we will again add n to sum. Eventually we will get 9 because the old value of sum is 5 and 5 plus 4 is 9. In this way, we can calculate the sum of first n natural numbers. Right now sum is 0, so we'll get 0 here. Now let's write the while loop. What condition we can choose for the while loop? Here we are writing the program to calculate the sum of first n natural numbers. Therefore our while loop must run n times. So if n is 5, then we know that our while loop must run until n becomes 0. This means that we can check this condition, is n greater than 0? Or we can check, is n greater than or equal to 1? Both the conditions are correct. Let's choose this condition, is n greater than 0. So let's write while n greater than 0. N is greater than 0 right now, so we'll get inside this while loop. The first step is to add n to sum. So let's do this. Sum equal to sum plus n. This can be written as sum plus equal to n. This is the shorthand syntax. After this, we must decrement the value of n, so eventually we'll get 4 here. Then we will continue and check the condition and we will add n to the sum. So we must type n minus equal to 1, which is equal to n equal to n minus 1. So here we are decrementing n by 1. Now with the help of this while loop, we can easily calculate the sum of first n natural numbers. Here we first need to check this condition. Is n greater than 0? N is 5 and 5 is greater than 0. Therefore this condition is satisfied. We will get true here. Hence we will go inside this while loop and add n to sum. Sum is 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. Therefore sum is updated to 5. After this, we must decrement the value of n by 1. This becomes 4. Now what is the next step? We must check this condition again. Is n greater than 0? 4 is greater than 0. Condition is satisfied. We must get inside this while loop and add n to sum. What is the old value of sum? The old value of sum is 5 and n is right now 4. Therefore, sum plus equal to n will update sum to 9 because 5 plus 4 is 9. After this, n is decremented by 1. This means that this becomes 3. Now the next step is to check this condition once again. N is still greater than 0. Therefore, we'll get inside this while loop. Add n to sum. 3 is added to 9. We'll get 12 here. Then n is decremented by 1. This becomes 2. Now again we need to check this condition. N is still greater than 0. We must get inside this while loop. Add n to sum. We will get 14 here because 12 plus 2 is 14. After this, we must decrement the value of n by 1. We will get 1 here. Now we again check this condition. N is still greater than 0. We must get inside this while loop. Add n to sum. N is 1 and sum is 14. So we will get 15 here. And after this, n is decremented by 1. This becomes 0. Now we again check this condition. But this time condition is false because n is not greater than 0, n is equal to 0. Hence we'll get false here. This means we are now outside of this while loop. We are done with this while loop. And it can be observed that sum is 15. And this is what we want. So we are getting this sum 15. First we have received 5 in the sum. Then 5 plus 4, which is 9. Then 5 plus 4 plus 3, which is 12. Then 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2, which is 14. And then 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, which is 15. So eventually we have received 15 here, which is the sum of first 5 natural numbers. Now we must print this value on the screen. For this we will use the f string inside print. We will use fstring here because we want to print this statement along with the value of the sum variable. So if we want to include some variable's value inside the statement, then we can use the fstring. Here we are using the fstring and the string is sum. Eventually the sum variable will be replaced by 15. Hence the output is sum is 15. Now let's execute this code in Visual Studio Code. I have opened the folder Python work, and in this Python work folder, I have created this file natural numbers sum.py. You can name this file according to you. Now in this file, I have written the same code. Now let's execute this code. Let's open the new terminal. Now let's type Python space name of this file, which is natural underscore numbers underscore sum.py. Let's hit enter. Let's enter the value of n. Let's say 5. Let's hit enter again. We're getting this output sum is 15. Now let's choose some other value of n. Again, we need to execute this command. There's no need to type this command again. You can use the up arrow key on your keyboard. After this, you will get this command. And now let's hit enter. Let's enter the value of n. Let's say 10. Now let's hit enter again. We are getting sum is 55, which is correct. Sum of first 10 natural numbers is 55. So we are getting the correct outputs, and hence we can say that our program is working correctly. I hope it is clear how to write the program to calculate the sum of first n natural numbers. This means that we are done with this lecture. Okay friends, this is it for now. Thank you for watching this presentation. I will see you in the next one.